Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 1st Town Council meeting. Oh my gosh, my microphone is working beautifully, which never happens. I just want to say for anyone who's watching from home, we did have some UROC awards that we were going to give tonight, but unfortunately those folks are not available. So I promise you we're going to do it next meeting. So if you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. So we're going to move on to public comment. This portion of the meeting is specifically set aside for comments from the public who are asked to limit their comments to 2 minutes. Any person interested in providing public comment should email publicmeetings@rockyhillct.gov and will be provided with a link to attend the meeting and instructions on how to participate. And we will begin public comment. Please come up.
Hello. Is this on?
It is on, yep. Yes. Just, you have to, excuse me, anyone who comes up, just state your name and your address for the record, please.
I will be doing that, yes. I just wanted to make sure this is working. All right. Good evening, all. Respected Mayor, Council members. My name is Mukund Mulkar. I'm a proud resident of Rocky Hill since 2010 with my wife and my 2 kids. They have been part of this Rocky Hill Public School since their kindergarten. I'm representing an organization called Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh, HSS, which is a 501c3 non-profit, non-political organization registered in 1989. We have weekly family meetups where we engage in fitness activities like yoga, play team building games, and end with some type of intellectual activity related to Hindu way of life. In addition to this weekly meetings, another key element of this organization is to make connections with the local community and engage in voluntary work. Over past 34 years, HSS has been extended in 34 states with 220 plus chapters, with 4 of those chapters in Connecticut, including 1 in Rocky Hill. Our members enthusiastically voluntarily engage in diverse American social activities that benefit all communities, such as food donations, yoga events, Adapt a Highway program, tutoring in the inner cities, and many more. We have been participating in food collection drives, used clothing drives, food sorting at food share facilities, several other volunteering activities. We also supported local officials, hospitals, FEMA during peak of the COVID pandemic during the vaccination drives. We have been participating in a couple of community activities like Surya Namaskar Yajna, the Sun Salutation Health Yogathon, which happens every winter and which had received the regular proclamation from the governor's office, which focuses on imparting the healthy life to the school kids. We have demonstrated the sun salutation to more than 10 schools in the city, in Connecticut. During summer, as part of the Raksha Bandhan, we celebrate this festival by honoring our protectors like police, firefighters, veterans, civil officials, and wish for their long and healthy life so that they can protect the society much better. The last but not the least, the Seva Diwali, which happens during Diwali, one of the biggest Hindu festival. This provides us an excellent opportunity to donate food to the homeless shelters, food pantries serving the underprivileged community. This activity inculcates the sense of belonging with the Seva, that's selfless service, in the Hindu American community. Every year, HSS also celebrates a Teachers Appreciation Day during the May 1st week. We call it a Guru Vandana. In the Hindu culture, the teachers are also considered equal to gods. We want to instill in Hindu kids that the teacher should be respected and revered. Teachers are those unmissable element of our community that weave the fabric of the society. Thus, I'm here to invite you all to Guru Vandana program to be held in the Olympic Taekwondo on the Cromwell Avenue on 21st of May from 4 to 6. Last year, during this Guru Bandhana event, more than 50 school teachers were felicitated across various cities in Connecticut. I also want to talk about the American part of this identity. We live in this great nation which upholds the value of hard work, good character, and freedom to follow our dreams. Through HSS, we are encouraged to take pride in this country, the local community. We encourage you to review the annual report that we have brought with us today, which will further highlight all our activities. In addition to, we would love to meet with you personally if further discussion is required. We can address any questions that you may have. And we welcome this kind of collaboration with open arms, as this is the nature of our organization. Thank you. So I have few reports and invites.
Give them to Joanne.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll give all of them to you.
Yes, and I can just, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard? Ms. Gohil?
I will keep the 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rohit Tyagi, live on 61 Fox Hill Drive. I'm part of a cricket enthusiast who live in Rock Hill for decades. A lot of us and kids are waiting for a decent ground in Rock Hill. We are hearing a lot of activities are going on, so we wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. We have a very large number of residents who wants to adopt cricket as a regular activity and also want to promote their kids and other youths. As a whole, in US, these activities are picking up. As you know, in 2024, we are having a T20 World Cup, first time in US, which is going to be a very, very big event. Today, just to have some sports activity, we and our kids, a lot of families have to go to South Windsor or the different grounds to just play, having a few hours of cricket, and they are all usually booked. So we have to participate in a lot of other kind of group activities. Giving facility within Rocky Hill will encourage our youth and our families to enjoy this basic necessity because of the size of the kids who wants to play. Our kids are going to represent the town and state outside because these activities are very prevalent in cities like New Jersey, New York, and even if you go west, it's huge there. On behalf of my friends and a lot of current residents, the cricketing fraternity, I request some prompt attention for a small youth and adult ground in Rock Hill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, we don't usually come on up. We don't usually have people here, so I want to first thank all of you for coming in. But I just want to let you know that if you're anticipating that we're going to comment on anything that you say this evening, or that we might engage or answer questions, we're not allowed to do that. So we're not being disrespectful. We hear what you're saying. We appreciate it, but we cannot comment.
I'm Shilpa Gohil, 9 Beecher Lane. Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Town Council members. I have 2 things. One is I am a part of a Rocky Hill chapter of Greater Hartford Foundation, and we will be having our next grant cycle. Last year, we granted a good amount of grants. I want to say up to $10,000 we gave it to Rocky Hill Band, which started a world music program. We gave $5,000 to Operation Fuel. We gave $500 to the Special Olympics. So those are the things we did for the last grant cycle, and we are again open to accept the grant applications up to June 30th. All our information is online, and I'm one part of a board member in there. And that was one. And then second thing is, in the last town council meeting, one of the gentlemen had a comment about the HSS. I have not been part of HSS, but I have participated in many of the events which the Mr. Mulkar said, I have participated in Raksha Bandhan. I have participated in the food drives. I have participated in the yogathon, which he said. And my daughter was a part of teacher appreciation event. And the teachers really appreciated. They never knew that this kind of thing exists in our Hindu culture, and they now know. So that they appreciated those things, and that was in the time of COVID, and we had a virtual event. Still, it was a very good event for kids to know the value. So the gentleman, what he made, the comments were very disrespectful for the work they do. So I just expect that people should be aware of everything they do, and it's a good organization. I feel proud to be connected with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Tejal Valam, 45 Andover Drive. I also just wanted to comment on the gentleman who came up to speak at the last council meeting. Wanted to make note that he's actually not even a resident of our town. The address he gave was that of a hotel. So when a person that isn't even a resident, doesn't even know our community, comes to make a public comment, it should just be completely disrespected and disregarded. And he doesn't speak for our community, though same thing as Shilpa had mentioned. I am not part of HSS, but I am completely aware of the good work that they've done for our town and the awareness that they bring and the children that they bring together. So I think we should be aware that when somebody comes up and makes a comment, we should background check them. This gentleman has a reputation of going around to towns making these awful comments, not even sure where they stem from, but we in Rocky Hill as a community don't support them in any way. And I just wanted HSS to know that they do have our support and they do good work and we appreciate them. And whoever that person was is actually just someone that is not even part of our team here. So that was one comment. And then the second thing I just wanted to mention was a statement that was made about Diwali functions not being celebrated in town. They have been celebrated twice so far at the new senior center. Mayor Murata was there for one of them. It was with the seniors. And I wanted to say thank you to Gina for doing that. And then last year, the Rocky Hill Historical Society helped host one also. So we appreciate what the town does. I think our community feels very welcomed here. And so I just wanted to make that comment that Diwali is celebrated in this town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Oops. Here we go. Lori Bosky, 18 Highland Street. I just wanted to mention a few comments about the process that's being used to review the budget for the 2023-2024 year. What I witnessed last Tuesday's budget hearing was the town manager presents the departments with a brief overview, and then questions from you, the councilors, were directed to the town manager. But when he didn't have an immediate answer, the question was referred to Mona. And if she did not have an answer, the questions, I guess, are going to be answered at the next meeting, which is tomorrow. I just might suggest another option. Since you have a schedule of which departments present on what date, why don't the councilors review those department budgets a few days before the hearing, submit their questions in advance to the town manager so that he can get the answers from the department chairs to be presented on the hearing date. As it stands now, tomorrow, you would expect answers to the questions not answered last week, and you still have to continue with the schedule of the departments that are scheduled for tomorrow night. So it just seems like you're doing the same thing twice. It's a process that the Board of Education has been using for many years. We've had to read the budget ahead of time, submit questions to the superintendent, and then when that section comes up, those questions are presented and answered. A second comment about the process. When I was here at last Tuesday's hearing, there were many questions regarding the senior center budget. And Gina Marino was sitting right in front of me here in this audience and could have been called to the podium to respond to many of those questions. However, she was not asked to do so. Yet, Interim Police Chief Klett was asked to come forward to the podium when the school resource officer position was questioned. I just don't understand why Gina was not given the same consideration. Lastly, speaking of the school resource officer, Interim Chief Klett had a valid reason for suggesting other alternatives to the SRO, but mentioned that the Board of Education needed to be involved in that discussion, and rightly so. Might I suggest a collaborative discussion between the Council and the Board of Education regarding this SRO position? Maybe something like a school liaison committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Karthik Radhakrishnan, and I live in 152 Skyview Drive, Rocky Hill. I'm here to support the youth cricket that my friend Rohit was talking about. Cricket is a great sport that's been widely played across the world, and lately it's been picking up very good in US, and especially in the parts of New York, New Jersey, and Texas and California. It's all it's growing big. And there's a lot of activities that's been happening to encourage the kids, especially to adopt a wide variety of sports where cricket is being a big part of it. And it helps the country and the kids in so many ways, not just as a sport, but also in the context of financial, business, economy. There are so many teams, so many corporates. They form teams, they support teams, they give grants. It's happening already in the major parts of the world, including the Europe, Australia, and in Asia, and in some parts of America as well as in Canada. I think maybe most of us are already aware there is a national U.S. cricket team that's out there, and there's a Canada team that's out there. There's a lot of teams from Europe as well. And these teams are now slowly picking up to the international standards. And then the way they can catch up to the international standards, if you know the countries that are playing at a qualified international level World Cups, they have to pass a lot of initial playoffs and stuff like that. So the countries like India and England and Australia, they are at the top league levels. And the only way America is a great country which adopts a lot of sports and supports diversification, and it's an opportunity for us to put America on the map in the sport of cricket as well, to go to the international level. And the best way to start further is make sure our kids are getting in there, they get the right opportunities and facilities, which is where the building this youth cricket ground is going to be a fantastic opportunity. And I'm fully in support of what Rohit has mentioned. And it would be great appreciation, and it would be of a great future for our kids in Rocky Hill, especially, to put them US on the map for the cricket. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alan Smith, 112 Old Main Street. Later in the agenda, you guys are going to vote on approving the 2022-2027 Affordable Housing Plan. First of all, I urge you guys to approve that. I feel like we're already starting behind the eight ball, though. This was approved in December. It is now May of 2023. So I'm curious as to why it has taken so long to get the ball rolling on that. I feel like we could have already started to make some progress with this. I don't know I know we had a lot going on earlier in the year. We're spending time talking about abatements and stuff like that, which is, all of this is related to housing. But at the end of the day, we need more affordable housing here in Rocky Hill. And I don't mean that as just like affordable as it's counted by the state, through their metrics. I think we need to not focus on as much on how those things are counted, but just actually making affordable housing. And so that's housing for seniors, housing for workforce. I took a quick look at even some of our city employees that are important to us, like police. And the majority of our police leadership doesn't even live in Rocky Hill. So can the rest of our police force afford to live in Rocky Hill? Can our teachers afford to live here? I don't know. So it's something that we definitely need to focus on, and hopefully once we get this plan in place, we can actually start to implement it. So just a couple points related to implementing it. We have hundreds of acres of land that's owned by the city, that's undeveloped. we have at least 41 parcels of land that's over 2 acres in town and 14 parcels that are over 10 acres. Now, some of that is obviously like this complex and like schools and stuff like that. So obviously it's already been developed and we have super important parks. But is there nothing that some of this land could be used for that could go towards building more affordable and workforce housing here? We're also, I think in the future, short term, we're going to be talking about block grants and some other money available to kind of get the ball rolling on affordable housing. So I'd really, I think that's also something that we really need to do. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, hearing no one, I'm going to close public comment.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move the executive session on the agenda up to the next thing on the agenda, right now after public comment.
Sorry.
Oh, they couldn't hear you.
A motion to move the executive session up to after public comment, between public comment and appointments and resignations
Right.
on the agenda tonight.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Go
Just,
ahead.
yeah, for folks who might be waiting, I think generally our executive session takes a while. So if folks are waiting for complete streets or other things, I mean, it'll probably be an hour or so, do you think? I mean, just to ballpark it, just to set expectations for the audience.
I don't know.
Or,
Do you know?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to set an expectation for people in the audience, how long our meeting might be in executive session?
Can we maybe shoot for a maximum of 45 minutes?
We could shoot. We're going to shoot for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
But
if folks
okay.
are interested, they can go to the library or something, come back, just so they're not waiting, wondering what's going on.
Thank you. All right, all in favor? Aye.
we've got a public comment before every meeting. If you and anybody can come up. Next meeting, you guys can come tell us what you think about being in town, some things you'd like to see, what you like, what's important. No, we're not a very judgmental group.
Okay,
I
don't want to give anybody the moon.
Madam Mayor, a motion to come out of executive session, which was discussion strategy negotiation with town manager, town attorney, director of human resources and legal compliance, and the director of finance operations with respect to pending litigation in the matter of the town of Rocky Hill et al. Versus Century Hills property owner pursuant to CGS section 1210B4.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Is there a motion to move up our new business now before appointments?
Madam Mayor, a motion to move new business up in the agenda to before item 3, appointments and resignations.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening.
Hello.
Thank you for waiting.
Not a problem. I just want to say that I during the recess, I did talk to Alan Smith, who got up. He was a member of the public that got up and spoke about supporting the affordable housing plan, and I did reach out to him, introduce myself, and said thank you for that. I also thanked Ed Ciccarello. He put together a one-page summary as a member of Sustainable Rocky Hill. He also happens to serve on our plan implementation committee, where we discuss the affordable housing plan. So I believe you have in your packet a handout that Ed put together unbeknownst to me, and I'm very surprised he did, and I'm very grateful that he did, and I want to thank him as well. What he did was essentially take the large goals that are in the document that I believe you have in your packet also, and put the strategies and the individuals or boards and commissions that are responsible for implementing those strategies. He put that all on one page. So the presentation is right here. The Planning and Zoning Commission back in December of last year approved the Rocky Hill Affordable Housing Plan. We did get a grant to put forth the plan. We did get an extension to extend the time frame for adopting that plan through the end of last year. It was approved in December. The reason why we're here this evening is because the town council obviously plays an integral piece of the puzzle with respect to this plan. The first thing we should be doing is creating an affordable housing committee. I did have a meeting back in February with Dana McGee, HR director, who was instrumental in creating the Commission on Inclusion and Innovation. And I liked the way that it was approached as far as it was a nonpartisan committee dealing with what I consider to be an extremely important issue. Housing should be a basic right. We do have to create housing opportunities for all, whether they're people that exist in our community now or people that will move into our community in the future. I've heard since I've started working in the town of Rocky Hill, affordable housing, bad, bad, bad. To the point where one time in 1990s I was almost asked to be fired because I was such a proponent of affordable housing. And that letter's still on my file, and I'm kind of proud of it because I am a proponent of affordable housing. So, but I'm here to say that what we'd like to do is have the council create an affordable housing committee using the same model as that other commission, using the same process to staff that committee as far as an application process, and she and I spoke about what would be involved with that. Applications would be coming in with we're looking people with certain credentials and philosophies, and we would redact names and we would create a panel. I think in talking with the town manager, we were thinking maybe 7 people. It could even be 5 people. But that's what we'd like to do. I don't know if you want me to go in some detail on the plan or not.
Well, the intent tonight was to have Kim introduce the town council to the plan again. Maybe giving you more time to maybe look at it between now and maybe either the next meeting or the meeting after. Maybe come up with a resolution to adopt the plan, and then accommodating Kim's request to form a affordable housing committee.
Is that temporary?
No.
It's
No,
forever.
we are obligated by state statute to modify the plan every 5 years. So this is 220.
No, that I understand, but the committee, the Affordable Housing Committee, is it going to meet regularly like the Sustainable Rocky Hill Task Force or
it would
committee?
It would meet on a regular basis. Yes.
Like
it could be
quarterly kind of, yeah, okay.
Because a lot of the tasks involved in the plan are also town council related, or Rocky Hill Housing Authority related, and we at the Plan Implementation Committee already kind of introduced that to the Housing Authority. We had members, the chairman and the executive director present at a Plan Implementation Committee to actually introduce the plan to them and talk about what are their hopes and dreams for expanding their facilities, possibly, building up instead of just out. But we did have a good meeting with them.
Okay.
So.
Good.
So.
Good. Any questions?
At that meeting, I could have an ordinance prepared and a process for applications if that's something that.
That would be very much appreciated.
Okay, I will do that for either the next meeting or.
Can we wait till after the budget?
Yeah.
Yes. I know.
Is there any timeline that we need to have this in place for? That might have been kind of related to the budget question, but any sort of timeline or milestone other than the approval of plan that we would need to have the committee impaneled and taking action to implement the plan?
Well, we'd like them in process as soon as possible. Planning and zoning does have a lot of tasks involved in the plan, with respect to regulation modification. So that's certainly something that they've already started working on. With respect to accessory apartments, no longer require special permits or public hearings. That's strictly with a zoning permit and staff. Modifications to zoning regulations to allow for conversions of office space to some multifamily housing with an affordable housing component. We're looking at Celestine Highway for possibly modifying that. We've had conversations with approximately 4 or 5 property owners on Celestine that are having a difficult time renting their office space. Mm-hmm. So they're looking at doing residential units along Celestine Highway above non-residential uses. And every time someone comes in to do that, I always talk about affordable housing. So they'd be willing to create some affordable units.
And then my second question was, in terms of that committee that you mentioned, the Affordable Housing Committee, some of the committees that we have in town, planning and zoning, wetlands, their duties and their responsibilities are determined by state statute. Is that the case of this, or would it be more we're looking to another town that has a similar body and they'll kind of be the template and we'll do something similar?
Well, we have a plan. We have a plan right here. This is what they have to implement. This is what they have to discuss, and this is what they have to implement. Whether it's be reaching out to the different boards and commissions and working collaboratively with state agencies, working collaboratively with the Rocky Hill Housing Authority. So this is what they'll be implementing.
So it's similar to like how the PIC committee works the plan of conservation and development. This would be implementing the affordable housing plan.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
All set? Okay, we're all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's move back up to appointments and resignations. Mr. Duff?
No new appointments or resignations from our side.
Mr. Sharmat?
No new appointments or resignations.
Okay, approval of the minutes, A, Town Council public hearing and minutes April 17th, 2023.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Moving on to subcommittee reports, Finance.
Finance has not met since the last council meeting. Our next meeting is May 11th at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Government Operations.
Government Operations meeting was canceled for earlier today. We are next scheduled to meet on Monday, June 5th.
Okay, thank you. Public Safety.
No meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 15th.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Senior Liaison.
Senior Liaison met last week. I'll give a brief update because we've covered most of the topics in our budget workshops. The senior lunch program was a topic of discussion, and the town manager and finance director have a plan forward, if the council should accept it, to keep that within our program operating as is, without any increase to the budget using alternative sources. Also, there's the bread program, which was discussed, and that will be, I don't want to say restated, but moved back into the senior center area.
It has been. They're sharing it, and it has been.
So that'll be coming back online, or already is back online. And the last item that we mentioned was the grant that the town is going to receive for the senior center for $62,000. And my understanding is that's just an application process. The grant's basically been awarded. We now have to fill out the paperwork to receive those funds. And we discussed at the budget workshop the plan for using the $62,000.
And the grant, was that federal or state COVID money? I don't recall.
Yeah, it's an ARPA pass-through, so it's coming through Department of Aging, but it is an ARPA
Thank
fund.
you.
The next meeting is July 24th, 6 p.m.
Thank you. Land Acquisition and Farmland Preservation.
No meeting. And I believe our next meeting will be the end of May, May 30th, Tuesday, May 30th. Is that right? The 30th?
Fourth Tuesday in May, so.
Fourth Tuesday, so then the 23rd?
23rd.
23rd at 6.
Liaison to the State Rep and the State Senator.
No report?
And we just had Kerry Wood.
Yes.
Yeah. School Liaison.
No report.
Capital Improvement Committee.
No meeting, no report.
And Economic Development Subcommittee.
Also no meeting, no report.
Thank you. Nothing on our consent agenda. Moving on to old business. A, discussion, possible action, American Rescue Plan, ARP funding options. Nothing.
I think we'll leave that for the budget. Yep.
Section B, discussion, possible action, complete streets policy.
Since Kim Ritchie is here, I like to have her speak. I like to hear her voice. Maybe you could just kind of bring us around to back to complete streets that we heard about a few months ago. You did a presentation, a very brief synopsis.
Back in November, November 21st, I was here discussing complete streets. The Plan Implementation Committee back in October put together a complete streets policy using the expertise of members on the committee as well as policies that other communities have done. We patterned the layout of the policy after the town of Madison's. It was an award-winning complete streets policy nationwide. And basically what complete streets is to, it's important for the health of the community, and it's important to include all on the streets of our community. We're talking about inclusive for all ages, all socioeconomic groups, all cultures, all abilities, all disabilities. And as we look at our community, whether it be a new paving project, a new development along their street frontage, or building a new street, a new subdivision, when we look at the streets, we want to make sure we can address all modes of transportation, if it's feasible. A bike lane's feasible. not all areas, will support bike lanes. Public transportation. Public transportation is an issue in town. We notice a decrease in ridership. Is that something we can work out with Connecticut Transit and other forms of public transportation? What about bike racks along town travelways, parks, town rights-of-way? And what this does is it brings a collaboration amongst different land use boards and commissions, amongst the town council, planning and zoning, wetlands commission, sustainable CT, plan implementation committee, and other groups out there, Walk Bike Rocky Hill, some of the state agencies, working together to see that we're providing complete streets for all, and include the key word there is all. The main priority of the Complete Streets policy is safety. That's the main priority. Obviously, you want to have sidewalks connecting neighborhoods, connecting people, getting to know one another. But if it's not safe, we're not going to build a sidewalk there. Okay? We won't build a sidewalk there. So safety is the first priority. There are certain design guidelines that we're obligated to follow. That's listed in the Complete Streets policy. I think that was in your packet. And there are certain performance standards that would be reported once a year, probably during the budget process or right before the budget process. We probably have the Director of Community Development come to a meeting to talk about performance standards. For example, we're talking about lineal feet of sidewalk built, number of ADA ramps constructed, number of bike racks installed. Have we formulated a bike plan for the town of Rocky Hill? If so, what have we accomplished year to year? So that's what we're looking to do. What about the accident data? And what's been involved with those accidents? Is it a pedestrian? Is it a bike? Is it cars? Is it trucks? And what caused those accidents? So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the streets of the community inclusive for all, and with safety being the main priority. I did present the policy. It was in draft form. It still is, back in November. And at that time, I did ask the council if they would consider either adopting the policy as is, so we can disseminate it to the various boards and commissions and agencies that we work with, either accept it as is, modify it, or reject it. I sincerely hope you don't reject it. I wouldn't be here if I wanted you to do that. So it's consistent with our plan of conservation and development. It's been in our plan in some form or another since 2001. So we hope you will embrace it.
Thank you. So did we have to give that to anyone else to be reviewed? Or are you just waiting on recommendations from the council?
I would recommend the council
pass
a resolution to adopt the plan as is.
Okay.
A lot of, as you know, just heard a lot of work went into it.
No, I understand that. I just don't know, well, let's open up the floor to discussion. Does everyone feel comfortable with what was presented? Have you had an opportunity to review it and discuss it amongst yourselves? Is there things you may want to change?
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The question is, has this been run by our public safety officers?
This is basically a guide. When you look at a road, for a paving program or a new road, to make sure you're assessing it for the needs for sidewalks, the adequacy for sidewalks, the adequacy for bike lanes, whatever. During all those processes with new roads or even paving programs, we are involved with the public safety boards, whether it be the police department or fire department, with respect to any of the projects that come in to planning and zoning, or I would assume the paving program also, to make sure that we're not doing something that goes against fire code or.
Well, they would know where the faster traffic is, the most
Yes.
number of violations are, the most dangerous corners.
Correct.
Where you can't put a speed bump in, where you can't
That's
put
correct.
extra lane in, where there's no shoulder. They would, along with our Department of, I guess,
That's
our
the
road engineering.
collaboration I was speaking of with
So
the various.
so they have signed off on this?
Well, no, they would be involved when something. They would be involved for okay, it's time to repave a road. It's time to, if public safety is looking for a speed table somewhere, we wouldn't just do it in community development services. We would reach out collaboratively to Planning and Zoning Commission, to Police Department, to Fire. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So if a project is proposed, basically, you'd use the policies that are here with their collaboration to determine if you're going to go forward or not, or how you might.
Correct. Correct. Or they might say, well, why are you putting a bike rack here? Because people might be walking too close to the road, and that might be a problem. So we'll move the bike rack, elsewhere. So.
Just a quick question. In the wording here, it refers to an Exhibit A. Is that in our packet here, or what is Exhibit A exactly?
No, the Exhibit A is supposed to be the policy, the actual policy.
Is that?
From November.
Okay. But do we need, if we're going to approve this, do we
Do you
need
have?
us?
Was it a memo that you had?
I drafted the resolution,
Oh.
which should be, I should have attached the actual policy to it.
I thought the policy was on the packet online.
The town council had the policy a while back, but
I believe the packet's
Is it-
on. It's
is
in the
it
packet
online?
online
For this meeting or from November?
for this meeting.
It is? It's not
I
on the
believe
one
it was
that's-
in the packet
I've got a
online.
resolution, and I have the memo, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was in.
So why don't we can always pass the resolution this evening.
Okay.
We can put that policy back out to the council for the next meeting. So at least everyone has it in front of them, unless you want to go off recollection. It's up to you. I'll defer to you, whatever you want to do. But we can also just pass a resolution and then get that document back in front of everyone, and then we could always pass that at the next meeting if we choose to, or we could do it now. Anybody?
Is there any sort of anything pending that would need like a grant or something like that would need approval of the complete streets policy tonight versus a follow-up meeting?
No, this is something that we've been working on, as I said. We've been working on it since the fall, and we've been wanting the council to adopt it or embrace it since then. So,
I think folks probably look favorably. Well, I will just speak for myself, feeling favorably towards it, but understanding that the note about.
Yeah, this is more of a administrative thing, but in the last section it says, Rock Hill Town Council hereby adopts a complete street policy Exhibit A, reinforcing, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't have the exhibit here to say what we're accepting.
It's not attached to it, but you've had it, so it's fine. I mean, if you want to, if you're more comfortable tabling it, that's fine.
Or, is there a way to distribute it real quick to us now?
Yeah, I can make a copy of it right now.
Or I don't know.
How long is it?
It's six pages?
Yeah.
6 pages.
I think I'd be more comfortable tabling it and then having a chance to read it and doing it the next meeting.
Yeah.
That way
As long as there's no pressing, like Chris said,
Table
there's
to
no.
the May 15th, May.
Not May 15th. Oh, May 15th. Oh.
Yeah, but I don't think that'll take very long. I think.
No.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mimi
Did you
made
make a motion, Mimi?
I did.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so we're on the mayor's report. I'll get my notes. We're almost done, kids.
And council members.
Okay. All right, so I don't know if everyone knows, but May is both Asian American National Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, as well as Jewish American Heritage Month. And so it is a wonderful time to celebrate the contributions and the achievements of our community members and those across the country who have enriched our lives and continue to make the nation strong and a better place to live, indeed the world a better place to live. I wanted to circle back briefly with respect to some of those hate messages that were out in the community. But this time I wanted, really on behalf of the council, to thank the folks who came out to the commission's meeting. So I'm referencing the Commission on Inclusion and Innovation. They held a meeting on April 26th, and a fair number of folks came out. They voiced their concerns. They did so loudly and clearly, and we just want you to know that we heard your anger, your sadness, your frustrations, your calls to action, and that we are responding. And I wanted to let you know that over the course of the next several weeks, the commission is going to work to gather additional feedback from the community, reinforcing its mission to the town. And I don't know, unless you follow commission meetings, if everyone is aware of the statement and what their mission is specific to what's been happening lately. So I'm going to reiterate their statement for you. And they said the Rocky Hill Commission on Inclusion and Innovation provides this statement in response to recent events in our community in which unknown persons littered residents' yards with slips of paper reflecting messages designed to pit us against each other. The Commission condemns the actions of those who spew the rhetoric of hate. We share all of our residents' concerns about this incident and understand that actions such as these affect members of our communities in many ways. Sadly, the darkness of hate reared its ugly head in Rocky Hill last week, and we call on all of our residents to respond with kindness and unity. Take the time to reach out to your neighbors, let them know you care about them, speak words of support and compassion for all members of our community. The role of the commission is to listen to the members of the community and turn what we hear into action items. To that end, we hope that town residents and members of the Rocky Hill business community will offer public comments at our upcoming commission meeting. And so that next one is going to be on June 28th, and it will be here in Town Council chambers. And if anyone is looking perhaps not to come, but just to present your comments to the commission in a more private fashion, you may do so by emailing commissioninnovation@rockyhillct.gov. You can go onto our town website and you can find all that information quite easily. So, again, as we have been saying over the course of the past few weeks here, we recognize that hate has no place in our community. And we want you to know that while the commission is continuing to do its work, the hate that we have experienced does not represent the town of Rocky Hill. So we are going to continue to work to make Rocky Hill better for all of the communities within our community. And we are grateful for the many areas of support that the State Commission provides us. And we've been fortunate to have them work on us in so many different areas, from when we started the senior center all the way down to issues such as this. So we look forward to hearing perspectives. We look forward to developing bridges. We recognize that addressing hate-fueled division is a nonpartisan activity. We all have a role to play in ensuring that every resident feels heard, every resident feels safe, welcomed, represented, and valued. I got a really nice letter, switching gears for a moment, from the Connecticut Municipal Animal Control Officers Association. And they said that it was addressed to myself and it was addressed to Chief Custer, who is not here now. But they said, we would like to take this opportunity to recognize your animal control officer, Sarah Rominski, and Officer Thomas Morato for their hard work and dedication to our profession. They both have served their community with compassion and professionalism, putting the well-being of the animals in their care as the highest priority. And they wanted to recognize them, particularly in celebration of Animal Control Officers Appreciation Week. And they wanted to take the time to thank them and folks all over the state for their hard work, for what they do throughout the year. And they referred to our two animal control officers as positively outstanding. So we wanted to give them a shout out. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. And let's see what else we have. I think that actually might be it. Like I indicated, we have some UROC awards, but we're not able to coordinate scheduling tonight, so we'll try to get that on the next meeting agenda. And that concludes my report. I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Town Manager.
Very short town manager's report tonight. Just a reminder that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. The Human, Youth, and Senior Services Department will be planning a bunch of activities and services throughout the month. So we look forward to those activities. Regarding the tax sale, that tax sale that we had was held on May 20th. I'm sorry, April 20th, 4/20, as the memo says. Details will be given at the next Finance Committee meeting. Keep everyone else in suspense until then.
It's called a tease.
And as I'm sure you've all heard that the early voting will not be implemented this round this year. Gives us more time to prepare and budget for it. And we meaning me and our Director of Finance, are working on addressing the questions and comments raised at the last budget workshop meeting, in preparation of tomorrow night's workshop, and also in anticipation of the May 3rd workshop if we have one.
This is Mary's flyer. Mini golf?
Yes. Mary had asked Daniel to distribute her flyers for mini golf, adult mini golf at the library. I don't have the flyer in front of me.
So May 5th, 6:30 to 8 p.m., adults only. It's $100 per foursome. And then on Saturday, May 6th, from 10 to 4 p.m., everyone, all ages are invited, and it's only $5 a person. And then Sunday, May 7th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., again, all ages invited and $5 per person. There's going to be refreshments and awesome raffle prizes. You can register and you can pay on their website. They actually have a QR code, and it's going to be a super cool event. Indoor, I don't know how, indoor mini golf in the library.
Should be exciting.
Super cool. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.